I thought I was ready for most of the stuff that the build threw at me. There was a couple of things that I hadn't really considered. And also, it's important to set a level of expectations. Focus! Welcome back to Cat's Music Journey, everybody. This is where I share with you stuff that I discover while learning the electric guitar. This is going to be a longer video. I'll set chapters so you can skip to the sections that interest you. And it's about how I built this Gear for Music GuitarWorks guitar kit. I thought I should make this video because I think that there are some important things that you need to know before you start building a kit. And also, it's important to set a level of expectations. We'll see later when we look at the unboxing and the parts what exactly you should and you should not expect at particularly at this price point. I thought I was ready for most of the stuff that the build threw at me, but I discovered that, yeah, there was a couple of things that I hadn't really considered. Ultimately, I want to build a guitar at some point because I've gotten into woodworking and I've modded enough to kind of have gotten the bug. It's a bug. There's no other way I can't describe it. It's a bug. So if you like that kind of stuff, like, subscribe, and let's get right to it. I wanted to go with a telly because I didn't, because I don't have one. One thing that I discovered quickly is that most kits, they come with a paddle-shaped headstock, which is nice because you have the proper tools and experience and equipment, then you can just shape it to whatever shape you want. I didn't want to do that. I don't have what I need to be able to do that, nor did I want to do this for this project. I went with something that had the shape pre-cut. It's kind of a neutral shape, so that was fine with me. Your opinion may vary, and let me know in the comments if you hated or like this particular headstock shape. It's from Gear for Music and it's called the GuitarWorks DIY Solo-Cutaway kit. I liked one thing that they mentioned was that the wood is not sealed, and that's important that because if you want to use a stain or an oil finish, a penetrating finish, you can't do that if the wood is sealed, so you have to send it back. The other thing is that they mentioned there explicitly that they kind of take care so that the grain is pretty on the body, and indeed the grain is pretty. Grab yourself a beverage, put on a nice pair of headphones, and enjoy.
So the first thing that I did was just look at the back of the neck, the wood, and the fret ends. The frets look nice, maybe the fingerboard is a bit gray. The next step is to sand the back of the neck smooth. I went up to 220 and then I raised the grain on both the fretboard and the neck, lightly sanded it flush again to 220 so that it's ready for the finish. The next part is my favorite part of any build. It's just etching in the maker's mark, the CMJ Cat's Music Journey logo. I do this by hand for now, but I may get one of those engraving irons. I'll finish the neck with oil and wax. I've used this finish so many times, I just love it. I think it's beautiful and it has a very nice feel to the touch. For the first layer, I'm using a blend of teak oil and paraffin wax. This is just a very thin wash coat. For the second and third layer, I'm using this IKEA Trixig indoor oil, which is a blend of tung and oiled linseed oil. I've used this basically on every project that I've made, and I just love the way it turns out. I've seen people use all sorts of things to apply oil on wood. I personally like to use my hands. I like the way that it feels to finish wood with your hands. I'll be putting it on generously and then wiping off the excess once it gets absorbed. Then I will leave it cure for 24 hours. A couple of days later, after the oil had cured, I came back and I gently sanded it with green Scotch-Brite, which is like 300 something, and then started applying the beeswax. Beeswax takes a lot longer to cure. This is going to need at least a couple of weeks until it's fully crystallized and solidified. Same as with the oil, I'm going to need to go and clean out the excess so that it can cure. Let's take a look at the body in the meantime. This is paulownia wood. It has quite a nice grain and quite a nice chatoyance. The grain is a bit raised, but we'll flatten that out. But before we can do that, we need to remove the pickguard. It's nice ceramic pickup, plastic wires. It's got the connector. Yeah, it's a pickguard. This is some very, very porous wood. I wonder how it sounds. Now onto the sanding before we can apply the finish to the body. There's a lot of sanding involved. You're getting the short version, but there's a lot of sanding involved, up to 220. Now this finish is the whole reason why I bought this kit, to try to do a French polish. I had some shellac left over and I wanted to try to do a French polish. It didn't really go according to plan, but I learned a lot and I'm happy to share this with you guys here. What I'm doing now is I constructed the applicator and then I'm just doing my first very, very light wash coat. I'll sand this in a bit. Turns out that this paulownia wood is very soft and porous wood, so I ended up having to do a second heavier wash coat after I did the first one and sanded it off. I used this foam brush here. You have to be careful if you use this because that material is soluble in alcohol, so it will dissolve with alcohol, which is the solvent used for shellac. It's relatively safe to handle, especially in an inconspicuous area, even after such a short time. A French polish is a traditional wood finish used for instruments and high-quality furniture for centuries. We basically apply a very tiny amounts of shellac in many, many layers. You end up with what you recognize as a traditional violin finish. This was the intention anyways. This is my first time attempting it, and so I'm not expecting any miracles. I'm gonna put some links in the description on some videos about French polishing classical guitars. Check them out if you're interested. I'm not gonna bore you too much with that, so let's just speed this up and roll the montage. After I finished applying the shellac, I let it rest for a day or so. The French polish process took about 2 days. I did about 5 sessions. I should have probably done at least 3-4 days more, but that's all the shellac I had and all the patience I had, to be honest. Luthiers take a long time to get this stuff right. Buffing it to 12K with the micromesh pads. This gets it super smooth and nice. And for the final touch, I'm just using some more beeswax, leave it on for 10 minutes, then wipe it off. And that's it, it's done. It's not a textbook French polish, but I'm quite happy with the result. It's time to move on to the assembly now.
This is the easiest part ever. The kit is super, super easy and user-friendly to assemble. Just feeding in the jack cable. You can see the connectors. I'm hooking it up to the control plate, which came pre-assembled. Just have to hook up those quick connectors. Sweet! Now all that's left is to put on the machine heads and attach the neck. These aren't the world's fanciest tuners, but they'll do the job. We have a guitar, ladies and gentlemen. There is, however, one more thing. I assembled it and I let it stabilize for a bit. I played it. It takes a while for the thing to you know, kind of put itself together and for it to acclimate. And I want to say like 3 weeks, maybe a month after I built it, and everything was cured and all the pieces had started, you know, like there wasn't any play in anything. Everything kind of felt tight. And I do like this thing, and an unexpected surprise happened. So before you start blasting me with comments, a guitar is supposed to be able to handle this, right? And this one handles it just fine. Now. And that was because the screws that it came with, they're too short. They're fiberboard screws. Not for a soft wood like this thing is, right? So in a pinch, I just used what I had at home. Longer and thicker screws, wood screws. It's not an optimal solution, but I just used that because that's what I had in a pinch. Because right now they're protruding, right? The normal neck screws, they're flush. Now this is how we got here. I even took it to our local blues jam that we have here, and man, it sounds great. I mean, it sounds good, don't get me wrong. It's level of expectations, right? It's not Danish Pete's purple telly. The oil and the wax have cured. It's already begun to wear a bit here where I play it. These are very thin finishes, right? The shellac has also started to wear a bit here. That matters to me, I don't know why. And it doesn't have to matter to you. You might not like it, but I like the idea that it's gonna show wear with time, because I've been using it. If I put hours into it to play it, I want it to show those fucking hours. I don't know why, but I do. That's just the way I am. It's not gonna necessarily stay like this. In fact, I know that it's not gonna stay like this because I already bought the parts that I want to change. Why? Don't ask. If you have to ask, then you don't know. It's a bug. And if you want to see what I do want to change, then subscribe, like, ask me in the comments. I'm just gonna give a little spoiler about that. I want to do this. Make the string through body. I'm gonna repair the screws, which means I'm gonna take these out, get some bespoke, you know, neck screws, dowel the holes, re-drill. But why don't we just go ahead and listen to it. I'm going to play it through the Tube 5 lacquered tweed 10-inch, a combo. If that sounds like something that doesn't exist, that's true. I'm going to link the video where I build that. You should watch it, it's a nice video. I wanted to share this stuff with you guys because I think it's important before you start committing to such a thing to you know, get as many perspectives as you can. And this was my perspective. And if you've built this yourself, let me know. How did it turn out for you? What were your impressions with it? What you know, write it in the comments. Let me know. I hope you found this stuff useful. If you didn't, if you enjoyed the video, remember to like, subscribe, and why not watch one of my other videos? Some of them will come up in a bit. The algorithm really loves it if you stay and watch YouTube because you want to watch me. So that would really help the channel. In any case, I think this is a very nice guitar and it's a good platform for modding. So thank you guys so much, and have a good day or night, depending on the rotation of your location. So I built this Danish Pete's purple Strat. Blah, 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 blah. I'll try to keep the blabbering to a minimum. Foculus Engagio. I don't know.